Nevertheless, I condemn today the way I behaved then. I realize now that my sorrowing in the way I did was mainly due to the fact that I had never considered the possibility of his dying before me. That he was younger than I was, a good deal younger too, was all that ever occurred to me, as if fate paid any regard to seniority. So let us bear it constantly in mind that those we are fond of are just as liable to death as we are ourselves. What I should have said before was, my friend Serenus is younger than I am, but what difference does that make? He should die later than me, but it is quite possible he will die before me. It was just because I did not do so that fortune caught me unprepared with that sudden blow. Now I bear it in mind not only that all things are liable to death, but that that liability is governed by no set rules. Whatever can happen at any time can happen today. Let us reflect then, my dearest Lucilius, that we ourselves shall not be long in reaching the place we mourn his having reached. Perhaps, too, if only there is truth in the story told by sages, and some welcoming abode awaits us, he who is supposed to be dead and gone has merely been sent on ahead. Letter number 65. I shared yesterday with a bout of illness. It claimed the morning, but it let me have the afternoon, so I started off by doing some reading to see what energy I had. Then, as it proved up to this, I ventured to make further demands on it, or perhaps I should say concessions to it, and did some writing. I was at this with more than my customary concentration too, what with the difficulty of the subject and my refusal to give in, until some friends of mine put a stop to it, applying force to restrain me, as if I were an invalid who was recklessly overdoing things. The pen gave place to talk, which included the following matter of dispute that I shall now state to you. We have appointed you as arbitrator, and you have more of a case on your hands than you think, for the contest is a three-cornered one. Our Stoic philosophers, as you know, maintain that there are two elements in the universe from which all things are derived, namely cause and matter. Matter lies inert and inactive, a substance with unlimited potential, but destined to remain idle if no one sets it in motion. And it is cause, this meaning the same as reason, which turns matter to whatever end it wishes, and fashions it into a variety of different products. There must then be something out of which things come into being, and something else by means of which things come into being. The first is matter, and the second is cause. Now, all art is an imitation of nature, so apply what I was saying about the universe to man's handiwork. Take a statue. It had the matter to be worked on by the sculptor, and it had the sculptor to give configuration to the matter. Bronze, in other words, in the case of the statue, being the matter, and the craftsman the cause. It is the same with all things. They consist of something which comes into being, and something else which brings them into being. Stoics believe that there is only one cause, that which brings things into being. Aristotle thinks that the term cause can be used in three different ways. The first cause, he says, is matter. Without it, nothing can be brought into existence. The second is the craftsman, and the third is form, which is impressed on every single piece of work, as on a statue. This last is what Aristotle calls the eidos, and he says there is a fourth as well, the purpose of the whole work. Let me explain what this means. The first cause of the statue is the bronze, as it would never have been made unless there had been something out of which it could be cast and moulded. The second cause is the sculpture, as the bronze could not have been shaped into the state in which it is without those skilled hands having come to it. The third cause is the form, as our statue could not have been called the man with the spear or the boy tying up his hair had this not been the guise impressed on it. The fourth cause is the end in view in its making, for had this not existed, the statue would never have been made at all. What is this end? It is what attracted the sculptor, what his goal was in creating it. It may have been money, if when he worked it he was going to sell it, or fame, if the aim of his endeavours was to win a name, or religion, if it was a work for presentation to a temple. This too, then, is a cause of the statue's coming into being, unless you take the view that things in the absence of which the statue would never have been created should not be included among the causes of the particular creation. To these four causes, Plato adds a fifth in the model, what he himself calls the idea, this being what the sculptor had constantly before his eyes as he executed the intended work. It does not matter whether he has his model without, one to which he can direct his eyes, or within, conceived and set up by the artist inside his own head. God has within himself models like this of everything in the universe, his mind embracing the designs and calculations for his projects. He is full of these images, which Plato calls ideas, eternal, immutable, ever dynamic. So though human beings may perish, humanity in itself, the pattern on which every human being is moulded, lasts on, and while human beings go through much and pass away, itself remains quite unaffected. As Plato has it then, there are 5 causes: the material, the agent, the form, the model, and the end. And finally we get the result of all these. In the case of the statue, to use the example we began with, the material is the bronze, the agent is the sculptor, the form is the guise it is given, the model is what the sculptor making it copies, the end is what the maker has in view, and the final result is the statue itself. The universe as well, according to Plato, has all these elements. The maker is God, matter is the material, the form is the general character and layout of the universe as we see it. The model, naturally enough, is the pattern which God adopted for the creation of this stupendous work in all its beauty. The end is what God had in view when he created it, and that, in case you are asking what is the end God has in view, is goodness. That, at any rate, is what Plato says. What was the cause of God's creating the universe? He is good, and whoever is good can never be grudging with anything good. So he made it as good a world as it was in his power to make it. Now it is for you, as judge, to pronounce your verdict, and declare whose statement, in your opinion, seems to be not the truest, for that here is as far out of reach as truth itself, but most like the truth. This assortment of causes which Aristotle and Plato have collected together embraces either too much or too little. For if they take the view that everything in the absence of which a thing cannot be brought into being is a cause of its creation, they have failed to name enough. They should be including time in their list of causes. Nothing can come into being without time. They should be including place. A thing will certainly not come into being if there is nowhere for this to happen. They should be including motion. Without this, nothing either comes into existence or goes out of existence. Without motion, there is no such thing as art, and no such thing as change. What we are looking for at the moment is a primary and general cause, and this must be something elementary, since matter too is elementary. If we ask what cause is, surely the answer is creative reason, that is to say, God. All those things which you have listed are not an array of individual causes, but dependent on a single one, the cause that actually creates. You may say form is a cause, but form is something which the artist imposes on his work. A part of the cause, yes, but not a cause. The model, too, is an indispensable instrument of the cause, but not a cause. To the sculptor, his model is as indispensable as his chisel or his file. His art can get nowhere without them, but this does not make them parts or causes of the art. The end the artist has in view, our friend says, the thing which induces him to set about a work of creation, is a cause. Even if we grant that it is only an accessory cause, not the effective cause. Accessory causes are infinite in number. What we are after is the general cause. In any event, that assertion on the part of Plato and Aristotle that the universe in its entirety, the whole completed work of creation, is a cause, is not in keeping with their usual acuteness as thinkers. There is a very great difference between a creation and its cause. Now, you must either pronounce your verdict, or, the easier course in matters of this nature, declare your inability to arrive at one, and order a rehearing. What pleasure, you may say, do you get out of frittering time away discussing those questions? It's not as if you could say they rid you of any emotional